For anyone trying to plan their family's investment future, there are always going to be areas of uncertainty. However, it would appear that if you are trying to do so using ethical or sustainable investments, it becomes even harder. With all of the concerns emerging about the greenwashing of investments, how can you really know the sustainable investment you've chosen is going to do exactly what it says it will? I'm Alexandra Brown, founder of Ethical Invest Group, and today I'm going to be speaking with the chair of the Ethical Advisors Cooperative, Sarah Wood, about how good advice can help make these sorts of choices easier to navigate. Sarah, the recent results from the RIA benchmark report shows ongoing growth of investor interest and expectations in ethical investments, as well as concerns over greenwashing. Are these in line with the experiences of advisors?
Yes, there were two key issues that were raised in that RIA benchmark report that are consistent with what advisors with the Ethical Advisors Co-op have experienced. And that is this continued and ongoing growth in responsible and ethical investments, and also this marked increase in concern over greenwashing. In fact, we highlighted these in our annual report that we released earlier this year. Our report also highlighted a number of the activities that we did that were addressing that key concern of greenwashing. Some of those activities were during Ethical Investment Week, which we hold annually. And that was a key theme for that year, where advisors across the nation and in New Zealand as well held events such as podcasts, movie nights, and seminars for our clients, where we were able to interact and educate directly on the issues of greenwashing.
It's great to see more and more investors are wanting to invest more in line with their values. Could you clarify exactly what the Ethical Advisors Co-op is and what its members are committed to?
The Ethical Advisors Co-op has 45 members across Australia and New Zealand. We manage $2.9 billion in funds ethically and responsibly on behalf of thousands of clients. And what the co-op does is ensures that we're giving expertise to our clients who are seeking us out for this specific sort of advice. The Ethical Advisors Co-op provides education, engagement, and feedback. We're advocates on behalf of our clients to industry to ensure that we're cutting through the greenwashing and getting the best outcome for our clients.
Your annual report outlines a number of those areas where the co-op are strongly, actively advocating for stronger standards and accountability in ethical investment. What are they? Could you give us some examples?
Yeah, absolutely. We have regular meetings with fund managers and super funds, and one example might be Host Plus. Host Plus has a sustainable and responsible investment option within their superannuation fund. And on behalf of our clients, we analysed the holdings that were within that investment option and gave feedback to Host Plus on whether that was meeting the expectations of our clients. Another example is that we collaborated with Market Forces and had a meeting with Australian Super, as we had feedback from our clients who wanted to address their holdings in gaming companies. Some of the other ways that we've helped our clients is we will help with shareholder resolutions. So we will have a number of clients that will have similar concerns, and we're able to advocate on their behalf as a group. So an example there might be a resolution with Santos and the expectations of shareholders in terms of them meeting their 2050 net zero targets and whether that's in line with investor expectations. So they're just some of the examples that we highlighted, and there were many in our annual report on how we advocated on behalf of our clients and gave that feedback.
You really are the front line and you're giving clients a voice. So with all of this direct experience and understanding of client expectations, Recent results from a RIA investor survey indicate that over 88% of investors expect their investments to be both responsible and ethical. It's a massive percentage, almost 9 in 10. Is that kind of what you see with your clients?
It's an incredible percentage, isn't it? And often clients can be shocked to find what companies are actually in their portfolios, often under a banner of saying that it's a sustainable or a responsible investment option. So, what we do at the Ethical Advisors Co-op is we take that extra level of detail and research on behalf of our clients and go into their portfolios and make sure that it's actually in line with their expectations. So when you see a figure like 88% from that RIA report of consumers expecting their funds to be responsibly and ethically invested, I think that figure's right. It's certainly what we see at the co-op, but whether that's matched with reality of what their portfolios are actually invested in, I think that's a different case altogether. And so that's where our expertise comes into account, and particularly bridging that gap between the expectations of our clients and the reality and providing that feedback to industry.
Every year, I'm so impressed that the engagement section of the Co-op's report is the largest segment by far. So it certainly seems by the latest report that addressing greenwashing is an area that members are very active in. Could you just tell us a bit more about that?
So, greenwashing is where a misrepresentation is made about the environmental benefits that are being provided. So, it's a big concern because clients and consumers will rely on these representations that are made by a superannuation fund or a fund manager, and then will invest accordingly. So, if it turns out that that is not correct and is in fact a misrepresentation, then that amounts to greenwashing. This can be very, very difficult for consumers to identify on their own. What the co-op will do is use our expertise to actually look into what these funds are representing and seeing if that's actually accurate. And that can be through a number of ways. We will look into the company holdings that are in that investment option. Then we will do detailed research into the companies themselves and seeing whether they are meeting the expectations or the representations that they're making. There will be other things that we'll address as well. So it'll be things like transparency, whether these things are actually being measured accurately and reported on accurately, how the fund might be voting on issues and whether that's in line with their ethical investment representations. So there are a number of things that we take into account that a consumer would find difficult to do on their own, that we then give that feedback directly to superannuation and fund providers. And that's how we address greenwashing as a group and in a powerful way on behalf of our clients.
Still continuing with greenwashing, we've just seen Australia's financial regulator ASIC score a significant success against one of the world's largest investment managers, Vanguard, which was fined for greenwashing products. How big was this decision?
Yeah, that's a really interesting example, isn't it? And since then, there's actually been a second finding with Active Super. Active Super made a representation on their website and in materials that was available to consumers that there was no way, and they were the words they used, no way that they would invest in things like coal or in gambling. And what was found in those cases is that that was a misrepresentation. And in fact, Active Super did have investment holdings in coal companies as well as gambling companies. The argument that the super fund was making was that they were holding those investments indirectly. So they were sort of arguing that it was a separate investment manager that was taking care of that. That didn't fly with the regulator. They basically were saying, well, a consumer should be able to rely on a representation made where you're saying that there is no way that you would invest in these sorts of companies. And by doing so, they were in effect greenwashing. In the case of Vanguard, they actually did say that they were aware that they had made some misrepresentations there, and that was due to fossil fuel exposure, where they said that they didn't have those holdings when in fact they did. I think what is really important out of these cases is that the regulator is not going to allow superannuation funds or fund managers to come out and say statements that a consumer can rely on, such as we definitely do not, or there's no way we would be invested in gambling or armaments or in fossil fuel companies, and then try to then say, oh, well, we didn't really know, that part was outsourced or it was indirectly held. I think these are great decisions for consumers. It's going to give them more confidence that there should be less of this sort of thing going forward. But certainly from the Ethical Advisors Co-op point of view, we're absolutely at the forefront of ensuring that this is the case and that super funds are accurately disclosing and being accountable for what they're saying in the ethical and responsible investment area.
Is this then a concern for clients who come to the Ethical Advisors Co-op? How would you tackle this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the concern for clients is it's difficult for them to be able to get through the level of technicality or to actually find these things out for themselves. So they really do rely on our expertise to help them do that. We have a whole product team that will go and approach the fund managers and superannuation funds and ask for very, very detailed information. And we produce a survey that goes around the ethical advisor members, where we all have an opportunity to then vote on whether we think that fund is meeting the expectations of our clients. And we then actually make that publicly available. It's on our website. It's called our leaf rating system. And it's a fantastic way to show how co-op advisors are actively engaging with industry on behalf of our clients and doing the hard yards for them, and then making it available for consumers and the public alike to go on and have a look and see whether some of these funds are meeting their expectations.
Yeah, I think that the co-op's leaf ratings, they're just an excellent first step for consumers or investors just to see a great snapshot of the fund. And I really appreciate that there's those research sheets that highlight any companies that may be ethically questionable. And for investors who are a bit unsure about what companies to look out for, it's really helpful. Sarah, it's been great talking to you. And if anyone is interested in finding out more about how to obtain quality ethical advice, how can they get in touch?
Thanks, Alexandra. We would love for clients to get in touch with us via our website, via our social media. A great starting point is to go onto our website, have a look at whether there is an advisor near them. We are located nationally and into New Zealand, as well as there being a lot of valuable information, such as our leaf rating system, our annual report, our ethical investment week activities. So just a great starting point for consumers and clients to find out more about the Ethical Advisors Co-op and take the initial step. And then if they are seeking advice in this area, then get in touch with one of the expert advisors.
Thanks for your time today, Sarah, and sharing how investors can get help with investing more sustainably and in line with their values.
Thanks, Alexandra.